Okay, next question. 1-year-old dog pees everywhere all the time on and off the lead. How do I deal with this, and should I allow this? Now, on and off the lead, that would suggest to me that this is when you're going on the walk, and if a dog on the lead can get the owner to stop frequently in order to do little pees here and there and everywhere, the dog is making the decision. So what I would do on the lead is, if your dog keeps stopping you, if you feel the dog is trying to stop you, walk on a few more paces, then turn round and you stop at the place that they wanted to pee at. Now, if they wanted to pee, they will pee. If they just look at you as if to go, well, no, it's not when you say, it's when I say, then carry on your way. Off the lead. If your dog stops to pee, just carry on walking, because what the dog wants to realise is, if I keep stopping, I could lose the pack. But for the time being, I think the prudent thing here is to keep your dog on the lead and practice some stop, start, change direction. Remember, we talked about that on the talk. And also to make sure your dog isn't the one to decide when you stop, because that's what's going on right now. Okay, next question. This is a good one. My dog slides his nose in front of his food bowl, then holds his nose at the edge without eating. There is food in the bowl. What does this mean, and how do I act? Well, dogs that are funny around food are confused about the pecking order, who should eat first. And the easiest thing to do is for you to do the thing called gesture eating, where you show the dog that when it comes to food, you eat first. So have your little biscuit or cracker, eat the cracker, put the food down and walk away. If he's doing this where his nose is at the bowl, that means you're seeing it, which means you're in the same room. You don't have to pay any attention to him, because he's trying to get you to react, and he's trying to demonstrate A, his confusion, and B, maybe his superiority over the food by going, you see this food? I'm not going to eat it just yet. I'm going to eat it when I choose. I would wonder if maybe you find that the dog will go up to the food and eat a mouthful while you're in the room later on. But I haven't got enough information there. But definitely it's what you do that's important, okay? So eat something, put the food down and walk away. If your dog wants to spend hours with his nose at the edge without eating, then the only thing that's going to happen is his stomach will start to tell his brain, stop it. Okay, next one. When a voice is raised, my dog lays down and acts as though he is afraid he has done something wrong. Including at training, when he is corrected by voice raising, he acts like he has been kicked. Now, I don't know if this dog has come to you from someone else, which is a possibility that maybe somebody else has been unpleasant to this dog. The main thing is, yes, when a voice is raised, human beings sound upset, and dogs will react in various ways. Some dogs will just get away from the situation. It's like if you come home and the person in your home is in a bad mood, you kind of get out of the way. You just avoid the problem until they've calmed down. And if they can't, then they are worried. They think that something's wrong. And the fact that training, there's voice raising and correction leads me to think that maybe the dog training is not necessarily the best place for you to go. See, dog training, if it's positive, is fine, and it's icing on the cake. But Amish bonding and dog listening is the cake. You need the cake at the bottom before you start putting the icing on. So think about the training. Is it positive or is it not? Next question. We have 2 dogs and two cats. Since the second dog arrived, the cats have no peace. The new dog gets excited and angry when it sees the cat. We would like a calmer situation with good harmony. Okay, what we need to do here is give the dog some consequence of his actions. So, have the dog on a lead, on a leash so it's under control, and bring the dog into the room calmly where the cats are. As soon as the dog starts to react, without a word, put the dog on its own in isolation until it's quiet. And then when it's quiet, try it again. And keep doing that until the dog realises, okay, so if I act aggressively, it means that I lose the pack. Well, I don't want to lose the pack. I'm a pack animal, which goes back to that question earlier. Yes, I am a pack animal. And you'll find out this when you do this process. So when the dog realises, okay, so what happens if I don't become aggressive with the cats? Then the reward is it will stay in the room with you. And that's how the dog will learn self-control. Next one. I have a 3-month-old baby and I want to get a new dog. What should I do, and what is the best way to do it? I know they must not be left together alone, but what else can I do? Okay, the new dog will ask the question, where do I fit into this pack? So what you should do is to demonstrate to the dog in a way that it understands that you are the leader, you are the decision maker, and it can trust you. And that's what Amish bonding is all about. The best way to do it, you've kind of answered your own question. Until you feel that the dog has understood, and definitely with a 3-month-old baby, don't leave the two together unsupervised. Because, dogs, in the wild, wolves will be very gentle and compassionate around puppies. But if the puppy makes a mistake, they do correct them with a little growl and maybe just a little grab. But of course, if a dog was to grab a baby, it could do a bit more damage and people are going to panic. So, just to avoid all that problem, don't put the two together unsupervised at any point until the baby is old enough to be taught the right way to behave around a dog. See, what was fascinating recently was on the foundation course we did after the talk, there was a lady there from Belgium who is government funded. It's a government program going into schools and teaching children how to act around dogs. That's brilliant. That's pioneering work, and fair play to the Belgians to be the first ones, it seems, to do that. Let's hope that maybe Holland does as well. I'd like to know if there are other governments which are that forward thinking, because I definitely know, unfortunately, the British government isn't right now. But I'm working on that. Okay, next one. Clicker training. Instructor says you need to take a picture of the behaviour. When you try to teach with just food, you become a walking cookie box. Now, I think, again, it's just a comment rather than a question, but I think it's what's our opinion on clicker training. Clicker training, for me, is a gadget which isn't necessary. To take a picture of the behaviour, again, maybe this is not a great translation, but if it's like making sure that the dog gets an immediate reward for the behaviour, there's nothing wrong in telling the dog it's a good dog. Or if you insist on making a clicking noise, I'm going to do one now with my mouth. There you go. Don't need anything in my hands. Human beings will love to complicate something. But I do agree, when you try to teach with just food, you become a walking cookie box. Absolutely. See, positive reinforcement is terrific as a tool in the overall process. But for example, if you think about the question with the cats, the dog that is aggressive doesn't get food, it gets isolation as a result. So, yeah, this process is not about becoming a walking cookie box. However, if you are going to ask your dog to do something, it needs a good reason. And food is not bribery, it's wages for doing the job. We don't always have to give the dog food, otherwise you're going to walk out lopsided because you've got a pocket full of cookies or snacks, and the dog's going to end up like a barrel because it's going to get praised the whole time. You have to make sure that you're doing it in the correct manner. But yeah, clicker training is one of those gadgets that human beings like to do because we like to complicate something that's very simple. There are no clickers in nature. Unless you're a dolphin, which is what it was actually produced for in the first place. Okay, last question for this section. When exercising or in competition, my dog starts barking as soon as we go into the field. She also bites my sleeve after every exercise is completed. How do I stop this? When she's barking, I'm losing her attention. She's trained as a rescue dog in police work, but is living in our home with the family. Okay, if the dog is starting to go out of control while you're doing these exercises, then she needs to realise that that means everything stops. Now, what you can do to practice this is, if you can practice at home, which it seems you could, in your garden maybe, if you've got one, or a piece of ground where you do a bit of training, if she starts to bite your sleeve, then the exercise stops, and she, if possible, gets isolated. Or, put her in the car if you're out doing training, or put her in a room somewhere in your house if she does. So she learns that biting the sleeve not only does not get your attention, which sometimes this is what dogs do to get attention, because people will go, "Get off," and the dogs go, "Ha ha, that works." Is not only does it not work at getting attention, but it could actually lose me the pack. You've given her two very good reasons not to do that behaviour. Now, the barking is, to a certain extent, the excitement of doing all these games that she's going to be doing. I mean, one of my dogs, Prue, when we go over an agility course, she barks like crazy, but it's excitement. If you don't want her to bark because you're in some sort of competition where they frown upon that, then the same thing. If she starts to bark, then you stop, turn around and go back, and then try again when she stopped barking until you can get into the field and she realises, okay, so what happens if I don't bark? And if she doesn't bark, then you go further into the field. But let's go back a few steps and show her the correct way to behave before you even start doing the exercises or the competitions. And you'll find that she gets that message quicker. And once she's got that foundation of she knows how to behave because she can trust you, the work that you're doing, the competitions you're doing, you'll get better results because she'll be happy to do it and she'll be relaxed. Okay, that's it for this first audio, and I'll be back with a second audio very soon once I get the questions. So in the meantime, if you have any more questions, feel free to get in touch. You can go to janfennellthedoglistener.com, and if you want to start reading my blogs, which are very useful and have lots of cool information, then that's www.tony-knight.co.uk. Thanks for listening.